What's going on, world? It's your man T Ray the Violinist here. Want to welcome you back to another episode of the Power to Win podcast, where we as a community tap into our power to win. Last week we did episode 1 entitled Just Start. If you have not watched that episode, I highly encourage you to go back and watch it. We're filming this at the beginning of 2025, so it does truly set the tone for the new year and things that we want to accomplish in setting the tone for our mindset to be in the right place. This week's episode 2, we're gonna tap into some reality check moments here. This episode is entitled "People Will Quit on You, but Don't You Dare Quit on Yourself." I'm gonna look over here. People will quit on you, but don't you dare quit on yourself. And this is a topic that I believe is really near and dear to me as a professional in the field that I work in as a musician, in particular being a violinist, but then also just personally as well. And if you watched the first episode or you've been following my journey, you know that I work to produce and put out value added content that transcends the lines of both personal and professional. So what we do as people, as how we grow and evolve as people. And I thought about this. I've thought about this in great detail over the years, and just a lot of the experiences that I've had with different individuals, relationships that have come, relationships that have come, relationships that have gone, people that are still in my life to this day, and how the dynamics of each of those relationships has truly helped me to understand the dynamics of how relationships work, how there's reciprocity in relationships, and then also the fact that there are some relationships in your life that are only for a season and some for a reason, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But to kind of give you some backstory for myself and how I've experienced this, very early on, and I'll think about my career. So very early on, there were a lot of moments where people said no. There were a lot of moments where people ignored what I was doing as a violinist, because it is seen as, at the time, I would say it was seen as this unique thing that people may not truly resonate with and vibe with, if you will. And one of the things that helped me to build a callus, if you will, for me to continue moving forward was understanding that everybody is not going to see the vision. Everybody will not understand it. And people are going to gravitate to things that they, feel will be of value to them, that they can benefit from. And a lot of people, in some instances, they just want to see you win. And some people, they just don't want to see you win. And that's just a reality that we have to deal with and live with in this life. And the reality I realized was that, a lot of people are going to quit on you throughout the process and throughout the days and years of your journey. And when I say people quit on you, this looks different, this looks different in a multitude of ways. Some people will legit say, hey, I really appreciate you being, I really appreciate you bringing me into the fold on this thing. But I don't feel that, I'm able to continue working with your team or working to be a part of this thing. So that's one, aspect of how people quit. Another aspect of how people quit is they will literally ghost you, right? And I'm speaking from experience. Like I've been ghosted before by people who I thought I, could trust and, were invested in what I was doing to build a team out in various capacities and bringing people on and, having the transparent conversations to really think about okay, hey, do you see yourself being a part of this thing, beyond the next couple months? Do you see yourself being a part of this thing, this vision and this journey a year from now? And it gives a person, or it gives a party the option to say yes or no, and we have a true, understanding of that. So that's another way people, quit on you. They'll ghost you. Another way is people just stop um stop believing, and you have to understand that your vision and your life is your vision and your life. Nobody is going to invest in that further and more than you. And if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like people that you brought into something are putting way more work in than you are, then I think it's a moment of clarity to take a step back and say, hey, am I really truly invested in what I've brought this person or these persons into? Am I truly willing to put in the extra time, the extra work? Am I willing to, invest further time wise, monetarily, to see this vision come to life? Or did I, sell them a dream and then I, coax them into being more invested than I am? You have to think about that. So make sure that you understand that your dream, your vision, your investment, it's all yours. People will come in and they will put work in, and once you set the tone for the culture and the environment, but you have to understand that at the end of the day, it is your vision, it is your life. And in the event that people quit on you, you are in such a position that if they leave, or if they, you know, stop in the middle of a project, that you're able to continue moving forward, because the last thing you want is for your team or your operation or your vision to be dependent on one person. And it's really, really important to understand that yes, everybody's going to have their role within the grand scheme of things. But in the event that one person drops the ball, or one person, quits or just decides to go ghost, you're able to continue moving forward. So that's something that I've truly learned and come to understand more so, because it it puts you in a position to not be frustrated, right? Because we can oftentimes in life and business, if we don't have the emotional intelligence or the maturity to deal with the situation, we can become very frustrated. It can put us in a place where we start to operate from a place of anger, or we start to operate from a place of I'm going to show them, and I'm saying this from personal experience. Like, I've been in situations where people didn't believe in what I was doing. People didn't believe that I could accomplish something, and I'm saying this from people actually explicitly telling me, man, I didn't think you were going to be able to do that. And they say, man, like, you actually did it. And you have to understand that, like, that person's perception of what you are capable of is not your reality. So you have to make sure that you are confident in everything that you are doing. I don't really like to use the word resilient. I would say building up that callus and making sure that you have the emotional intelligence and the maturity to deal with situations, and deal with um, situations where people may um, decide to leave and quit on you. So the other thing is, when we embark on any endeavor, it is super important for us to keep the promise to ourselves. Keep the promise of whatever the goal was to ourselves. Because if we compromise on that, then we're compromising the full vision and the full capacity of what it is that we said we were going to accomplish. And some days are easier than others, and some days are going to be harder than others. Some days are going to be more challenging. But I want to tell you, like, the main thing that you can do is just keep the promise to yourself. Every day that you wake up, make sure that you recommit to that promise, recommit to that covenant that you made, that you were going to accomplish whatever goal it was, whatever objective you set out, whatever routine you set. Don't compromise that, because once you compromise that, you open the gateway and give people the opportunity to compromise when they come into the fold. And they'll say, well, you said you were going to do this, but I didn't see you do that. So now, I didn't think I needed to do it, or whatever it might be. So you want to make sure that you keep the promise to yourself. And it also goes into, don't negotiate your terms. Do not negotiate the terms with yourself. Do not negotiate the terms with others that you bring into the fold. Make sure that you are clear, concise, transparent about everything that you are working to accomplish. Make sure that make sure that every role is understood, and every person that is in that role understands the full capacity of what it is that they are going to be doing. Make sure your circle is tight. This is one thing I've had to learn over the years, is that, everybody is not going to be for you. There are going to be some people that are going to be against you for their own personal reasons and discrepancies. But make sure your circle is tight. You don't have to share your vision with everyone who is involved. You don't have to share your vision with everyone who is involved. You don't have to share. Let me back up. You don't have to share the full totality of your vision with everyone and everybody, because then you put that energy out and people will start to try to pick away at whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, today I really wanted us to tap into not quitting on yourself, and the reality that people will quit on you. No matter where you are in your journey, you can be at the beginning, the middle, or towards the end of reaching a destination. And for whatever reason, there may be people that quit on you and decide that they don't want to be a part of your vision anymore. They've outgrown it, maybe, or maybe you've outgrown them, and they have to deal with the terms of that. So this week, and I also forgot about this. The seasons versus reasons theory, right? So we've all heard the term, some people come into your life for a reason, some people come into your life for a season. And I used to think that the reason part of that statement meant that people were going to be in your life for, a long period of time. But there are some people that come into your life for a season for one particular reason, and they plant the seed for whatever it is that you may need assistance with, or whatever challenges you may be facing that finally come up for you, and they help you to work through that. And for whatever reason, you kind of just go your separate ways. Who knows what that reason may be, but some people do come into your life for one particular season for a specific reason, and then they go on about their life in another way, in another path. So yeah, today, think about that. Think about the fact that there will be people that quit on you, but don't quit on yourself. People will quit on you, but don't you dare quit on yourself. Keep the promise of everything that you said you were going to do. Keep your vision clear. Keep your communication concise. Make sure that no matter what you're doing, that if somebody decides that they don't want to continue on the journey, that you have all of the tools and the essentials to continue moving forward. It's your man T-Ray the Violinist with another episode of the Power to Win podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and take some value from it. If you do, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. All of those things help to expand our viewership. And if you haven't already, you can go online to my website, trayviolence.com, and order your copy of the Power to Win workbook. This is a comprehensive workbook that I put together of different principles for you to do the introspective work and improve in various areas of your life. So make sure you tune in next week. Once again, this is the Power to Win podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourselves today. Have a great week. And remember, progress is more important than perfection, and you have the power to win within you. Y'all have a blessing. Peace, love, and strength.